Hey, what's going on, guys? So in this video, we're going to be interviewing a couple of my clients who just went from zero to their first 25K month within about 67 days, I believe. Now, this is a husband and wife building this business. And in this interview, we cover a lot of topics from generic listings to wholesale suppliers to vetting out wholesale suppliers, product research, retail arbitrage, and how they almost got scammed out of $20,000 once they were transitioning into wholesale. We cover all of that and more. Very value-packed interview. I know you guys are going to enjoy it, so I'll see you in there. What made you want to join the program other than other programs that were on the market too? Because now there's so many programs, so many coaches.
Yeah.
What kind of drew you guys to the Wholesale Underground?
You actually watching your videos.
Yeah.
I watched a couple other ones, and I was like, something about this guy. It was straight to the point.
Yeah.
It was no frills. It was honest in our opinion. We are like, should we do it?
Yeah.
I said, well, hey, his price is good,
Yeah. Yeah.
that helped. But just the content which you had, I said, I'm comfortable with this. Let's try it. Let's try it.
And then the other thing was, it was, look, this is what it is. But a lot of people are like, look, if you're not willing to invest $4,000 into your future, don't even send this email. You don't know what our budget is. Like, it's like, you don't know. Yours was just straightforward. And I personally liked how you connected people to what needed to be learned. Specifically, you have videos that talk about mindset, and you do a really good job of getting people ready, right? So if you're gonna do like I did, like you said, like I did, I kept dividing my time between this and then wondering why I wasn't seeing results. Then yeah, but I loved how you connected people with what they had to do, like with what needed to be done to be successful. A lot of coaches don't do that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't do that. And I think once I started doing that, I feel like, maybe you guys have seen it in the course, in the group, where people are just posting testimonial after testimonial, 10K, 5K, 20K. Somebody just posted 35K in 7 days. And I think once we can kind of dive a little bit more into the mentality, it's like, well, people realize, well, I'm kind of reliving this same script over and over again that I do in my personal life, but now I'm just trying to apply it to a business and I'm coming up short. So if we can get that mentality right, it's like then the sky's the limit. You know what I mean?
Literally. It's like literally. Yeah, the sky's the limit.
And grace.
Yeah.
Great.
So I kind of want to give you guys the floor for a second and just kind of let you tell us, where you guys were in the beginning, before you joined the program and why you decided to go with Amazon, and then kind of give us a play-by-play as far as like where you guys are now. Because I look back at your progress, and you guys you made a post on August 6th, things have finally clicked. August 20th, first 10K, and then like 2 weeks later, 20K. So something happened along that path that it was like, all right, I have all the pieces to the puzzle, and then you guys just took off. So if you guys could just kind of take the floor and go with that.
As you know, we're a team. So, I'm more so behind the scenes. So I'm like, okay, let me see here. But no, when he first started, I wanted to find something to get into to invest in. I'm retired, so former law enforcement as well.
Okay.
Yep. And so I said, it's got to be a way to do this. She brought it to me. My wife mentioned to me, what about Amazon? And I heard about this. I couldn't wrap my head around the concept.
And that was over a year ago. That was a while ago.
Yeah. It was a while ago. And I was like, I don't know. I don't understand it. I wasn't saying it wasn't true. I just didn't get it.
So sounds like a scam.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say that. That's not how I felt.
What did you say?
I don't get why would I buy it from somebody and sell it to somebody else? I want to get mad at me if I'm buying it from them and posting on the same platform as they are.
Mad at me.
And I didn't get it. But then a few months later, we circle back. You mentioned it, and I don't know if something in my brain clicked or I got more, I understood it more. I'm not sure. And I said, I get it now. And I said, I'm all in. Let's do it.
So he was looking to invest upwards of 150K into a laundromat business, just a great entry level business.
Even line haul.
We were looking to do line haul. And so I said, oh, goodness, as a former business owner, I've learned that if you can have a business that has low overhead, no employees, pretty much contractors, that's already a win. And so I looked at Amazon, brought it to him a couple years ago. He said, I don't know about this. I said, okay, maybe you're right. Then as he was looking at these businesses with this high investment, I said, you know what, after what I've learned, let's look at this. And so that's when he shifted gears around March, right around the time I had my surgery. Yep. And we started shifting gears and just watching videos. And there's a ton of people out there. So we watched a ton of videos, but yours was the channel we kept coming back to. Did Marvin post? What did Marvin say? Kept scrolling down. We would literally, you're like our Amazon fact checker. So we would go to people and they'd say, oh, you know what? Never do this. And then we go, well, wait, does Marvin have a video on whether we should do this or not? And so that's how we started. And I think what clicked, so we made our first sale, June 23rd?
It was middle of June, I believe.
And we were excited, right? We were chasing those memes, right? We were chasing those graphics, those phones with the 10K a month or 150K a year or whatever, $1 million a year. Mm-hmm. And so that first month we had little to no sales. I think our first registered month of sales was $1,900. Right?
Yeah, it wasn't quite 19.
Yeah, it's like 18, 19.
18, almost 1894, somewhere around there.
And we were ungated for it. We didn't care if it had 1 million BSR.
No, if we were ungated, we
were like, let's do it.
Post it, put it on there.
Put it on there. Somebody will buy it, right?
we were kind of desperate.
We were kind of like, not so much desperate for money, but desperate for that. We were glad to be ungated, but we wanted to hit the 10K a month, right? Yeah. And so stuff didn't get spot, obviously. And I think Amazon has like an algorithm where they're like, listen, we don't know you. So we're going to gate you to see if you're even real. Like, are you going to do right by this? Because we too have a brand to protect. And so something happened around early August and stuff we were scanning for just started
opening up.
And we saw that little green box with those 3 letters. Yes. And we were like, what? But I didn't believe it. So what did I do? I go to the Amazon and I scan it and wait to see if it has that required approval or restricted over it, right? And then I'm like, oh no, we really are ungated for it. And then we started buying things, but moving on very quickly. We became very strategic, right? When you say we became very strategitic, if it has 100K BSR, we're like, no,
I don't know. We're not too sure.
We're not too sure. We move on a lot quicker. Yeah. What else do you think that clicked?
Mainly getting ungated. Amazon saying, okay, you can sell this. That is when it really, because we'd scanned some things and they were like, no, you're gated. You can't sell this. So I said, you know what? I love scanning, whether it be online, in the store. And so I said, I'm going to keep trying. I just kept trying. And then one day we scanned maybe once or twice before, said, we're ungated. You can sell this. And then that's when my morale, my enthusiasm, everything just came in. And I just said, you know what? This is real. We can do this.
And then there's the Amazon. I don't call them scammers, but there's like, you start to think people are making money by listing everything generic. Right? There's that. And so we're thinking, oh, well, maybe we have to make things that are generic, or maybe we have to trademark a bundle. That's, we're like, oh, here's the catch. And I even questioned you. I was like, why doesn't Marvin have a video about the catch? The catch is you have to bundle everything, or the catch is you have to trademark a bag and then call it,
whatever,
Tehran bag products, right, to get it. And that's why you don't have a video about it, because that's not how you make, that's not the way you can do it straight down the line.
Just be patient, and persistent.
Yeah. And the generic listings, I have a lesson about that in the program. Those are so risky. Yeah, those are down on those very hard. I remember when they first started popping up, it has to be over a year, where they really started to pop up quite a bit. You would see them here and there, but I was like, this just doesn't seem right. I'm like, and it completely makes sense with all these Section 3s and people getting shut down. It's like, well, you're jumping on a listing and you're saying, this is Marvin's phone, right? And then Amazon looks at it and it's like, well, that's clearly an iPhone, right? So it's like, what are you talking about? It's like, you're selling fake goods, right? So then that's where so many people are running into so many issues. So yeah, you guys avoid those, right?
For me, when I started getting ungated, I'm like, oh, I got super excited, and I'm like, look, honey, we're ungated. But then when you read the fine print, it'll say generic. It won't say the manufacturer or the brand. And I say, oh man. So I said, let me do some more investigating. So I'll actually find the real brand and then see if I'm ungated and I'm still gated. I'm like, but I didn't give up. I just kept going. Yep. But generics, I would say stay away from generics. I took your advice. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people reach out and they're like, yeah, I got shut down for this, or Amazon wants this. And I'm okay, let me see the listing. 99% of the time it's generic. And he's like, no, it's the brand. I was like, no, if you look closely, it's like one letter off or a completely different thing, you know? And it's like, they're so risky, completely stay away from those. But I did want to ask about your guys' ungating paths. So like we talked about earlier, it's like a lot of people will start Amazon. And I liked how you guys put it. It's like Amazon has their own brand to protect. It's like, you know, everybody's coming here. It's like we invite everybody to our house and they're like, well, can I go to your upstairs master bedroom? And can I go over here and over there?
Can I use the master bathroom? Can I take a shower? Like, no.
Exactly. It's like, okay, like, let's get to know each other first. Let's make sure you're real. And then we can kind of open the doors from there. Did you guys find that you started opening up for a lot of brands after you started making any types of sales? Or was it just time, or what did you guys kind of find out there?
Well, in the beginning, I was just scanning. I was just trying to get ungated for everything. And she was like, oh, we're gated. I said, you know what? I'm not giving up. I don't care what it was. I scanned it. I applied. I have more denials than approvals. But I just kept going at it, kept going. And then we got to start getting a couple of sales, nothing major, couple of sales. And I think that's when Amazon started saying, okay, no complaints. No, trying to ship on time and things of that nature. And
it was all the account health. Sorry to interrupt you. It was sales. It was on-time shipping. It was, you know, our listings being above board, right? I think once they saw that, number one, they're getting the products out. Number two, they're good products. Number three, you know, all of the health things. Don't check your health, right? With Amazon. I think if you want to get ungated, you have to sell what they ungate you for, make sure it's legitimate, right? And then when that order comes in, ship it, right? Get it out, like, you know, as soon as you can, get that label printed, get done, and make sure it's going out in the next available slot. So we have a wear space because our home is too small for for the stuff we have, right? And so wear space picks up, you know, our post office, our FedEx, our UPS every day. The guy comes right outside of our little warehouse door and he picks it up. So we've been at warehouse space in the middle of the night, right? We've been there late, fulfilling orders just to make sure we get our account health. So I think Amazon ungated us for more stuff, Marvin, when they saw that we had strong numbers on all of our account health. And then the thing is to keep going. Like, it's not just today.
To piggyback on that, you know, we were really like, okay, we want 10K a month, of course, but the first month was just shy of 19. And it wasn't about making the money. I think our us being honest with ourselves, honest with the program, and just keep going at it, not giving up. We didn't make a lot of money, but we did the back work. We did it the right way. You know, not saying most people are doing it the wrong way, but we did it the right way. And I think Amazon noticed that. And so once we had all our ducks in a row, everything, the account health was good, the items were legitimate. We didn't make a lot, but that second month, it started picking up, start picking up. So just take your time in the beginning. Don't rush, you know, for us.
We made so many mistakes.
We did, but not huge mistakes, not costly, but we just make thousands of dollars mistakes. Like some people, they spend, I wasted 10 grand.
No, we didn't.
for sure.
But we got some Tommy Bahama chairs if you want them, Marvin.
I got a little excited with my online.
His first online
arbitrage. And there was a nice sale.
Oh,
and I forgot about the little ungating thing. Yes. Oh, I'll get ungated.
I'll get again. No.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
No.
Still didn't happen.
Yeah, that happens. It's so funny. Like over the years, you just hear so many stories. We've had guys come in, they spend like a couple thousand on this product, never even tried to list it, and they're like, "Hey, Amazon's saying I can't sell it." It's like, well, yeah, you got to check first. When it comes to ungating, I think sales metrics is the biggest thing. It's like if you can just wait, just stick it through to make a couple of sales, and then keep showing up. Amazon will open up so many doors for you. Like it takes time, obviously, but a lot of times people come in and they're like, I want to be able to sell everything from day one. And they hit that little resistance. And like, that's enough for them to just be like, this doesn't work. And it's like, just give it a couple more weeks, sell a couple of products.
Hold on.
I was so discouraged.
I was. I said, nope, I'm not giving up. Amazon's not going to beat us. They're not.
Yeah. And I can see, like, I can empathize and understand, like, I can see how people will come into this, especially when you see a lot of the marketing around Amazon. It's like, come in, you'll make money tomorrow. It's like, I've never been that way because it's like, I get it. Like, I get it. Right. So I want people to come in with realistic expectations. And I can see it's like, well, if you come into this business model and you're not getting any wins whatsoever, it's going to be really hard. So that's why when a lot of times people come in and they have no experience, it's like, all right, let's start with arbitrage, because you're going to get a win so much faster with arbitrage. And just that mental win is going to be so significant that it's going to be like, I can keep going now, right? Like now my eyes are open. I can see the opportunity here. And then that will motivate you more to keep going.
That's where we are now. There's nothing like that feeling of loading up and heading that drive after we leave a store and head to the warehouse. That is like, here it comes. You know, like we did our due diligence. We checked, you checked, I checked. We, you know, and we said, okay. And then like, if you read our process, I list those bad boys before we even leave the store. And then we're driving and sale, ching, ka-ching, ching. So I would encourage anybody start with retail arbitrage, if for no other reason than to get that boost of confidence, right? Get that boost.
Because I was like, you know what, let's try retail and online. And she was like, I'm wholesale. I want a wholesale. I want a private label. Only. I said, well, let's just see. And come to find out, the best formula, the best things in sliced bread
is retail arbitrage.
Yeah, just try.
Are you guys going real heavy on FBM, I'm assuming?
Yes, but we're switching that now. Yeah, we're switching it now.
We have a lot of products going to FBA now. It's in transit. You know, sometimes Amazon can take a minute.
Yeah,
they lost a box or two.
They've lost a box or two of ours
already. You know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we have to file that. I don't want to say complaint, but that file
it. Yeah. Luckily, you guys have a lot of experience with FBM now, doing the numbers that you are. Because once we go to Q4, that's experience is going to come in handy for sure. Like that's when things are going to go really, really well. What were some of the mistakes that you guys can recommend new sellers to avoid that you guys committed? And we've all been there. So what were some of the things that you guys were like?
The number one I would have to say is don't buy it until you're ungated for it. Don't buy it until you're ungated for it. That was the first mistake I made. It was, I don't care how good the sale is.
Oh, did you see that margin?
I don't care.
That FBA margin was ridiculous.
I bought something 3 months ago and it's still on the shelves. Because I can't get ungated.
Marvin, do you want some Tommy Bahama chairs? And then then we tried get the online arbitrage, buy just a small sample of orders. So if you have any little boys that want some Tommy Bahama shirts, it's like we've got a whole nice little thing of Tommy Bahama shirts.
I'll spend $100, $200 on this other item to get ungated for the big item. That didn't work either.
That didn't work.
Because I guess maybe the distributor
wasn't recognized by Amazon.
By Amazon.
What's another mistake?
Being impatient.
We were very impatient.
Being impatient. Take your time.
Yeah.
Just because it worked for somebody else or it sounds good, don't just do a little research. If you have any doubts,
yeah,
I see here it's a great BSR. They're selling, 10,000 a month. However, do you have the capital to buy what you need to buy to even get into that market, to even make a dent in it? So just be patient and stay within your means, and it'll come.
Yeah, we also made the mistake of matching prices on our Amazon page when we saw that the price had gone down 10 cents or whatever. We don't do that anymore. We actually go into the listing, check SellerAmp, see how many they have. So they went down 10 cents, but they have one.
Also, they may not have the buy box. So I don't care if they went down 10 cents. If I have the buy box, I'm not going to reduce my price.
Exactly.
Because Amazon says, you should reduce it. They give you the notification, match it. And I said, let me check to see what the app, the listing is saying.
Right.
And that's where we get our data from the actual listing itself.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to drop my price if we have the buy box.
If we have the buy box, yeah.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one thing that I like to look for is also when you start seeing somebody out of nowhere starts tanking the price, look at their ratings, right? So if they're a newer seller, almost guaranteed they're just trying to liquidate. They're just impatient. They're just trying to liquidate, give it a day or two, and almost always price will come right back up.
Yeah.
Not falling for that.
The other mistake we've made, and I think we kind of touched on this before, but I really want to hit home to your audience, is that everybody's situation is different. So what somebody has to get to $35,000 a month, like that's why, we explained in the Facebook group, this is all we're doing, right? And there's two of us, me with over 10 years of business experience, him, he has small business experience. We've also ran a small business together, right? So we know each other's lanes very well. And the capital, right? We have significant capital to invest in this. And I think that's another reason why we were so excited. If we were looking to invest $125,000, $200,000 in a laundromat, we were anxious to get a wholesale account so we can start investing that money. I think all in, we've invested $30,000, including the wear space, the tables.
Starting from scratch.
Starting from
everything
all in, it's about $28,000 to $30,000. But on the $19,000 we've made that month, we literally sold $6,000 in product. So it's not like we took $30 to the local bargain shop and then we just kept going there and just taking that money. That takes more time to do. And I don't think those tags don't really say that. When you see somebody holding up the phone, and in 30 days, I was able to do this. Well, they don't really talk about how much money was invested. So knowing that everybody's situation is different, we have, 6 figures to invest. We've only invested 5, but we have 6 to do it. So it's different for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think kind of along those lines, a lot of times people will even, they're going to hear this and be like, well, I just need to go get more capital. Right. And it's like, no, you don't. Like, you need to work with what you have. At worst case scenario, just a little bit outside your means. You got to make that grow first before you start going and getting capital from somewhere else. I had one client tell me that she just lost her job, and this one software, very well-known software that does financing, wanted her and approved her for $100,000 loan. And I was like, why would you take that? I was like, you don't even have an active income right now. And it's like, the worst thing that people can do in the beginning, if they don't have the means, is don't go and inject capital into your business until you grow. And you can prove that concept to yourself. Because then it's just going to be so much stress. So, because it's tempting, because you see so many people like, oh, look how much I'm selling, look how much I'm selling. And it's like, you're going to go down your own path. It's like, just take it a little bit slow, and you're going to get there if you just stay consistent. Another thing with that is that I like how you guys found what works for you, and then you double down on it. Because you guys said you wanted wholesale, and then you're like online arbitrage, but then you found that retail arbitrage was working really well. So then you double down on that. And then once you master that, it's like, okay, now we can kind of explore other avenues because you have so much experience in that one realm.
Yeah. I walked into our bank and we spoke with the business banker. I think back to getting capital, you have to have a relationship with whatever institution you're going to be borrowing. That in essence becomes a partnership. And I've learned that by my years of experience in business. And then the rule I hadn't followed before, that I learned to follow later in my business, and that I'm injecting into this business now for him, is don't borrow anything you don't have. So if your business hasn't made $100,000, do not borrow $100,000, right? If your business hasn't made $10,000, don't borrow it. What I love about this Amazon business, Marvin, is that you can take $50, well, $100 because you need to set up, but you can take $50 to $100 just on product and go to your local store. We were ungated for one major brand, and we bought something for $39.99, right? And it was a sale that weekend for 15% off. So we were manufacturing those margins, and then we put it on blind, and then it sold. And then you can take the profit from that, take it back to the bargain store. You know what I mean? And you can rinse and repeat that cycle to get to where you need to go. Our other rule is we don't FBA anything unless we FBM it for a couple of days first. Just kind of our rule, right? Because like we've got thousands of dollars of product, and then we don't always send it all in. Right. Because the last thing we want them to lose is $2,000 worth of product. And we want to make sure it sells because we're still new and these aren't wholesale accounts. So we say, like, Labor Day weekend, we bought some items, we FBM'd them before they left the store, and they took about 5 to 7 days to sell. But we're caught with that because we know the FBA market is the prime market's a little different than the FBM market. But as long as we see a little bit of movement, we'll likely send it in to FBA.
Yeah. And the turnaround is so much better too. If you have something that sells, instead of waiting, because the check-in times it sucks. I wish it could be like that.
Check-in time.
I want to ask you guys, what if you guys never joined the program? Where do you guys think you'd be in your journey, your progress?
I don't think as far along as we are.
Not at all.
Honestly, I don't think so. Because there's one tip that we got from you that we've actually used recently. It's with the wholesaler, but your course is invaluable. I love it. We love it. We're so glad we got it because it helped us look in a certain direction and then put our radar up, what to look out for. I don't know we
would have spent thousands, maybe $20,000 to $40,000 had it not been, and this is direct, had it not been for your course, easily. We were put in touch with a wholesaler that had a website. I Googled the address and it was somebody's house in Brooklyn. I said, I used to live in Brooklyn. And so I was looking like, wait a minute. No businesses are running out. That's a historic district. Like no businesses are running out of there, right? Then I paid careful attention to the website and it had Trustpilot. So I was like, okay, Trustpilot's there. But all of the reviews were headshots.
The names were made
all the reviews were F and F.
The name was F and F.
The name was F and F. And then if you watch their Hero Space video carefully, Marvin, you see the AI superimposed logo on an 18-wheeler because it's bouncing, right?
Yeah.
And then you see the superimposed logo on the floor of stock footage video of a warehouse. And had we not had your program, we would have assumed that all wholesalers on the Wholesale Central website or all wholesalers were legitimate wholesalers selling legitimate goods. And that's not the case. No. And we had 2 instances that had it not been for your video, their MOQ was $20,000. And we're like, okay, it's this brand of shoe. Great, we'll do it. Until their Google said permanently closed.
But you can talk to someone on the phone.
Great.
But I'm like,
And they FaceTimed us, showed us their whole warehouse. And it may be something we go down to in the future. But again, you're not going to knock on my door and I give you $20,000. We need to go to your warehouse, open your product. It's like that movie, War Dogs, where they went to Albania and didn't open any of the ammo, and it was all illegal ammo. They had already bought it. If I were to do something like that, it would be a trip to New York, going through their warehouse, opening their boxes, making sure that those are real, authentic name brand shoes. He said for some reason that he couldn't. I said, well, do you have an email? He's like, well, you know, I can't have an email address.
Walk away.
Yeah. So, but had it not been for your videos, we would have thought, since it was two companies, we would have thought that that was par for the course. And it's not. You taught us that all of these boxes, they can have a Trustpilot, but their Google address has to be legitimate. Everything has to be above board, and it wasn't. And we were excited. Yeah, we were going to spend about $40,000 on apparel.
So
yeah. So there's a lot that I want to talk about with that. So I love that you guys looked up the address. That is the most like simplest way that you can vet out a supplier, and you would be surprised how many people don't do that. Like there's a lot of people who get shut down because they went and they thought that exact same thought, which is, as long as they're doing wholesale, as long as they're on this site, as long as they say they sell these brand name products, all wholesalers are created equal. And it's like, that is so far from the truth. I actually just recorded a video about that, because it is becoming an issue. More and more people are trying to go into wholesale, and it's like, you have to be careful. Like with arbitrage, it's great to start because it's like you can make those $50 mistakes. Once you go into wholesale and you're placing those big boy orders, it's like, well, you can lose $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 or your whole account if you're not careful. Because it's like a lot of suppliers have been coming up recently where they are working out of their house or a storage unit, or maybe they are like give you a location of a business. It just has nothing to do with that supplier.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw that one too. And it was like, okay, we Googled the address. Like, and it was a restaurant. Like, this address doesn't even go with the business, and there's a lot of fake websites.
Yeah, and then there's some that will get creative and they'll do an address of like a trucking company. So somebody new is gonna be like, oh, look at all this space they have. And it's like, well, if you look really close, it's a trucking company, but it's not a distributor and that has anything to do with what you're trying to open an account with. So it's like going into wholesale. I think wholesale is great. It's like, but you have to have those tools that are going to protect you, because I mean, look how much money you would have lost, right? And we don't know where those goods are coming from. So with Amazon being the way they are right now, trying to tighten things up, it's like they're dealing with a lot of those scammier suppliers or those low quality suppliers, and they're trying to push them out. That's what they're trying to do. Because I always talk about, you want to work with authorized distributors. You want to know where your inventory is coming from. You want to be able to verify the supply chain, because when you work with these suppliers, some of them will give you inventory. Some of them you'll pay for it and you'll get nothing. And then the ones that do give you inventory, if Amazon ever were to come knocking and then you go and contact them, if you get really lucky, they're just going to ghost you altogether. Right. And it's like, yeah, so wholesale is another level. And it's like, I'm glad you guys have the tools and you guys are utilizing it well to protect yourself, because at the end of the day, we're sending them our money. And not everybody.
Yeah, we have one wholesale account that we saw an 18-wheeler truck drive by us as we were coming back from one of our retail runs. I said, well, so there they are, right? They have DCs, right? They have DCs all over the country, districts. DC, we're in DC 19, right? So there's that. They have an accounts receivable department with an accounts receivable email. We have a sales rep. You know, it's everything lines up.
It's legitimate.
It's legitimate. And with me having been in business, with you having been in business, there's just some basic things that we look for. And I can just imagine having no experience whatsoever trying to open wholesale, not understanding what, like in your videos, you talk about, these are the things that you need to know about wholesale. This is what an MOQ is. This is what this, and you know, it's all extremely valuable, especially to people who don't have experience. Yeah.
They just need to educate themselves first before they jump into wholesale. That's a completely different beast.
Yeah.
Educate yourself, do your research, take your time, because you can make some serious mistakes.
Yep. And then there's much risk, there's much reward. Like you can also make serious money. Like what we're finding now with retail, it is very time consuming, getting in the car and driving. One time we had to make 2 trips because we have a small SUV and it didn't fit. The first trip didn't fit everything. So we had to drive another 40 minutes out to go back and forth. Yep. And so the travel, but having a wholesale relationship is important because now we've got our VA looking for the things that sell and that have already sold and finding wholesalers that supply those products and then comparing the prices.
Now, if you want to be a part of the one-on-one mentorship program that I do offer that's helping my clients go from 0 to their first 10K per month in record time, you're going to want to click that first link in the description. It's going to give you all of the details that you need to know. But keep in mind, guys, this is true one-on-one coaching. I am helping you personally, no VAs, nothing like that. I'm not throwing you into a group and you're hoping for the best. I'm not telling you to show up to busy Zoom calls and hoping that your question gets answered. This is true one-on-one mentorship, and that's why my clients get results just like all of these that I'm flashing on screen right now in record time. So with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the interview, and I will see you guys in the next one.